Welcome to another Code Made Easy video tutorial presented by Black Star Code Academy, where we make learning to code easy. For complete, easy to understand, and detailed coding video tutorials, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. Here you'll find in-depth coding instructions and lessons that are easy to understand and follow. So visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now this is lesson number 11 in our Getting to Know Bootstrap video tutorial series. In lessons 1 through 10, we learned about Bootstrap. We also installed our code editor. We'll be using Notepad++. You can download it for free at notepadplus.org. And we'll be using version number 6.0 because that gives us all the functionality that we need. So let's go ahead and begin. I'll start with this lesson. We'll be working on our navigation, continuing from lesson number 10. We've got our navigation area up here, so we'll be working with that. Now in lessons 1 through 10, we built out our upper header section, included our text here. We also included our lower header section here. We also did our section just beneath that with our 3 columns using the Bootstrap grid, and we also did our offset columns in lessons 1 through 10. We coded that out. We coded our call to action section, as well as this next section here containing the 2 blocks with the multiple columns, and we did our upper and lower footer sections, and you can review those in lessons 1 through 10. So today we're going to concentrate on our navigation section. We'll be adding some collapsible features to our section using the code. And what I mean by collapsible features, when I minimize the screen here, you'll see that we've got this nice little collapsible button here, and it toggles up in the navigation menu up and down. So we'll go ahead and code that out today. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'll go to my code here on my test page. Now you'll have to make sure to include the links to the Bootstrap CDN, and I'll be leaving a link to the PDF that contains the links to the Bootstrap CDN. These are remote links, so you won't have to download the entire Bootstrap package. You have access remotely. Now you include these links in their head section on the top of your page. So just below that, we've got our style section containing some of our styles, and we'll be working in the navigation section here. So we'll be adding all the things for the button here, all the code for that here. So let's begin by including our button here. Just beneath our class, let's assign a class of navbar-header, we're going to add our button. So we'll go ahead and include our opening button tag here, and then our closing button tag here. Okay, and then we'll open up our button, and we want to include a few spans inside that button tag. So we'll do an opening span tag and a closing span tag there, span, and then we'll add another span, an opening span tag and a closing span tag. And then we'll do our final span, opening span tag, and our closing span tag there. Okay, so now we have our button and our spans that are inside our button tag. So what we want to do is we want to add some data here to our opening button tag. So the first piece of data we want to add is our button type. So we'll have the type equals double quotes button. Okay. And then we want to add our classes and our functions for our button. So we'll do a class equals double quotes, and this is going to be navbar-toggle. Okay, there for our class, and then we'll add our functions here. These are our Bootstrap functions. You can learn more about Bootstrap classes and functions on our Patreon page, patreon.com/CodeMadeEasy. So we'll do a data-toggle equals, and then a class of collapse. Okay, collapse. And then we want to add our next function, which will be a data target function, data-target equals double quotes, and this is going to target the ID my nav bar. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit more about the nav bar ID and what this function is assigned to a little bit later in the tutorial. So next we'll go to our spans. We want to add a couple of Bootstrap classes to our spans. So we're going to add class equals double quotes icon hyphen bar to the first span, and then we'll add the same class to the next few spans. Class equals double quotes icon hyphen bar, and then we'll add the class to our last span as well. Class equals double quotes icon hyphen bar. Okay. Now what this class does, what this Bootstrap class does, it gives us the icon here. So when this is my finished page, when I minimize the window here, it gives this nice little icon here with the icon inside the button here. That's what that does. So now we'll go back to our markup, and now we want to add another div. Okay, so we want to include this div, the opening tag, just above the opening tag for our UL section here. So we're going to include our opening div tag here, and then we'll go ahead and include our closing div tag for that div just below the closing div tag, or the closing UL tag, okay, for the UL section. So we'll do a closing div tag there. So now you see that that div is assigned, is connected to that div, and within our div we have our unordered list. Okay. So now we want to add some classes and ID to this div that we just created. So we'll do a class equals double quotes, and then we'll have a class of nav or collapse, the collapse class, and then we'll add a class of nav bar hyphen collapse. Okay, and then we want to add our ID for this div here. So we'll go ahead and add our ID equals double quotes, and then the ID name will be my nav bar. Okay, so in this ID is associated with this function here. So the function works in conjunction with this ID here. So I think we have everything that we need. So let me go ahead and Control S to save the edits to the markup. Go back to our page, and I'll go back to my test page. I'll refresh my page and minimize my window, and you see that my icon is here, and you see that when I click on the button, the nav bar toggles up and down. So that's what we wanted to do in here. So let me go back and just review what we've done. I'll go back to the code, and what we, just in review, just to recap, we created our button here, and we've added some classes and some functions to our button tag here. We also created 3 spans, which gives us our icon here. We added our Bootstrap classes of icon hyphen bar there. You can learn more about the Bootstrap classes on our Patreon page, patreon.com/code-made-easy. We also created a new div here, and we assigned a class of collapse as well as a class of navbar hyphen collapse, and included our ID for this division here. So that concludes this particular tutorial. In the future tutorials, we'll be working on adding some additional features to our, actually some content to our section that we created in lessons 1 through 10, and we'll be cleaning up this upper and lower footer section. And I think in this tutorial, there's one other thing I'd like to do. I like to move this navigation, these items from the left to the right, and that's a simple thing to do. So we'll just go ahead and do that here. So the only thing we need to do is add a pull right to our navbar, our UL class that's assigned the class of nav and navbar. So we'll add an additional class. We'll just add the Bootstrap class of pull hyphen right. Okay, Control S, go back to our page, refresh our page, and there, as you see, that my navigation menu items have been pulled to the right. So that concludes this particular lesson number 11 in our Bootstrap series. You can review lessons 1 through 10 and get caught up, and also visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/codemadeeasy to get in-depth tutorials and lessons regarding Bootstrap, PHP, CSS, WordPress, and a lot more on our Patreon page at patreon.com/codemadeeasy. More on our Patreon page at patreon.com/codemadeeasy.